Star Wars, what really followed me from my early childhood to the present day, and how it felt when I saw it in the first time, and how it felt today, or how it feels today. So, what was my first impression when I saw Star Wars? It came out here in Germany in the year 1978, in the beginning of the year. I couldn't see it in the beginning in the winter time. I saw it in the summertime when I go to vacation, and it was the best start for summer vacation I can imagine. So it was probably, I think, the last school day in the summer, um, before I went to vacation with my parents, and my dad gave me some D-Mark at this time. I think it was 2 D-Mark for the evening screening of Krieg der Sterne, in German, Star Wars. We call it Star Wars also here now, but I think till the 90s we called it Krieg der Sterne, and later it was Star Wars, it became Star Wars. But at this time it was Krieg der Sterne, and my dad gave me money, and I walked there to it was a suburban cinema, very small, outside from Munich. It was a small cinema where they also showed art movies, Dr. Zhivago, Bridge over River Kwai, Lawrence of Arabia, the Bond movies. I saw all the Bond movies when I was 10 years old, because the old lady who owns the cinema, the theater, she let me in and let me watch everything: Godzilla, Bond, and movies from David Lean, and yeah, saw everything. So, and in this evening, I did not have high expectations, and I went in and I had too less money. They raise up the prices, so it was 2 D-Mark and 50 cent, Pfennige cent, and one of my friends lent me some money, and I did not pay it back till today. So, okay, I'm not comfortable with this, but okay, I forget it. So, then we went in, and I was blown away from the first moment. That is the experience everyone had when he watched this movie. Ask someone who grows up with the normal movies we can watch in the 70s, and then you have this movie experience. Then you have this the scenes, or the scene of the scenes with this Star Destroyer. The first thing is the music. It really bombs into my ears. Great. Then the music fade away, and the text is fading. It was also awesome. It starts from the beginning. You see, not like starring this and starring this guy, and no, it starts with the story. You can read it. Fade out, music fade out. You see the stars. It was great. The star field was imaginable, or impressive. Or I don't know how to tell in English. Yeah, impressive. And it was not. It was something what was new. It looked new, and the movie did not give you time all this to experience, because then it goes down, and then you see, wow, a planet. Oh, then a big planet, and then wow, spaceship, and fighting, and then this huge spaceship. So you had really an upgrading. Every second you have an upgrade of the scene, till you see it in the end, when the Star Destroyer goes over the blockade runner, and it goes on and on and on. And then when I watched it as a child, I was 10 years old. It was released in 1978, because then this I wrote in the description, how Star Wars felt in 1977, 1978, because it was released here in Germany in 1978, and it did not stop. It goes on, and it felt not for children. And this is something I will always come back to, because it doesn't felt for small children. It felt for maybe 12 years old, because here it was like 12 years old. 12 years old should see it, not earlier. And it was great. It was like a realistic space western with soldiers, spaceships, and scoundrels, gangsters. And obviously, Han Solo, he shot this guy. It was not a bad thing, because this guy, he already pointed his gun on Han Solo in a distance of less than a meter, and he had to shoot him in from beneath the table, because otherwise, if this greeter would shoot first, Han Solo would be dead, because you can't react. Okay, it's ridiculous that George Lucas changed this, and we all know it is a kind of self-defense. It's okay. Nobody had a problem with this till the end of the 90s, and this is one of the first things I want to mark, that Star Wars felt a little bit strange today, because in 1978, George Lucas tried to do something what he likes to see. He did not care about others who watch this later. He wants to see this movie, he wants to direct it, and he wants to see how it works on screen. And later with The Empire Strikes Back, it was the same. It was for grown-ups. And when I left the movie theater after Star Wars New Hope, we call it Star Wars Krieg der Sterne 1, Star Wars number 1, and Empire Strikes Back, Das Imperium schlägt zurück, number 2, and then Rückkehr der Jedi-Ritter, Return of the Jedi 3 or 2, 3 or 3. Okay, and when I was in New Hope, Star Wars number 1, the whole movie felt like it's not for children, and the makers, they thought about something what will be with you even if you grow up. If you're grown up, you will still like the movies, and with The New Hope and The Empire Strikes Back, it is for me still so. I enjoy these movies, and it continues to stage the level all the time. You have this scene when they left Mos Eisley, then the Star Destroyers come. Then you have the Death Star, huge thing. You have the bad guys. It was like, I was so amazed. And then when they left the Death Star and they go to Jabin and prepare for the big battle, and when this battle starts, we have all been thrown to the seats because of this amazing scenery, of this amazing action, the music. And that is something also I feel that today Disney do not take care about the music for Star Wars series. The music is something you can forget. It's not remarkable. It's not. I can't feel it in the movies. It's there. It makes sound in the background, but it's not like something what grabs you. Okay, in Andor there were some music scores I really like, but when A New Hope was finished and you have this throne room, it's a scene when the Death Star blows up, and then the throne room, and it was summertime. I left the movie theater, I go on my bicycle and I drive, and the world changed after that. The whole view on movies changed, because if you grow up with 70s science fiction, you have all this shiny stuff like chrome, metal everywhere, and it looks like a little bit childish, what you liked before. But with Star Wars and the look of everything, of the spaceship's interior and everything, it looked realistic, and then so it should look like. And for Ridley Scott, it was also a revelation, because he tells when he watched Star Wars, he liked this used look. this is something I find out later, that everything looks used, and so it becomes also a higher level of realism. And then later, I did not think about that Star Wars will have a second part or a third part, because it was not like it was not nothing I had in mind at this time. And then I heard, yeah, they make a second part, and it comes out, The Empire Strikes Back. And honestly, when I saw The Empire Strikes Back in the first time in 1980 in December, I was a little bit disappointed, because I was 13 years old and I expected to see something like A New Hope, just bigger, maybe 2 Death Stars and more villains and more aliens. And they had not so much aliens like they had then in Return of the Jedi, but I expected much more firework, but it wasn't. And my friends and me, we walked out from the movie theater and thought, it doesn't feel good. What they do, it's strange. And accidentally, a week later, I had nothing to do. It was winter. Star Wars comes out here in wintertime and Christmas. I went out and in winter ferien, no school, and I had 2 days left, and I thought, okay, a little bit money, okay, I go and watch The Empire Strikes Back again. And then I sit there in a very empty cinema, because it was noon, and I realized how fantastic this movie is. And then I went home and I called my friend and told him, you have to watch it again, because we really had a judgment. What is it's not a judgment, it was like stupid statements. And he also had the same experience. And till now, I think The Empire Strikes Back is the mark point of Star Wars, because it was something for grown-ups. I watched Star Wars when I was 10, then I watched The Empire Strikes Back when I was 13, and it goes with the level of growing up. And this is something I really want to keep in mind for Star Wars, because The Empire Strikes Back is something for grown-up. It had a darker tone. I will not say everything should have a darker tone, but it was about the Empire, and the Empire struck back. And the stupidity with stormtroopers, I could not realize it. When we played as children stormtroopers, we always hit everything, because in our imagination the stormtroopers, they hit, they do not fail, because they in the beginning of A New Hope, they killed all the rebels on the ship, and I did not see that all the stormtroopers missed their shots and get killed by the rebels. That is something what comes up later. It's also something what feels now very stupid. And in the beginning of Star Wars, it felt really cool, because I liked the stormtroopers. They were elite. They were not stupid guys. And they, of course, they cannot shoot the main characters. Could not. And what Lucas did in the beginning of Star Wars, what was very smart, he did what they did with Star Trek, with the red shirts. Put some red shirts into the scene who can die, and then you can show the audience, oh, the Empire is evil and effective and deadly. But if you only put, that was something with the Mandalorian. I liked Mandalorian, but this was a big issue. You know, you have the main characters, they go into the danger, and it's clear that they get not shot, and the stormtroopers, they miss everything and get killed by the main characters. And this is something, it feels stupid. And in the beginning, it doesn't feel so, because in the Death Star battle, the TIE fighter pilots, they shot away all the rebels. Bam, bam, bam. The rebels died. I think one Y-wing get back to the base 2 X-Wings and Millennium Falcon. 4, I imagine 4. I saw it many times, but okay, I think 4 ships. 4 ships survived the battle because the TIE fighter pilots were not stupid. They missed nothing or almost nothing. They killed all the rebels because they are elite soldiers. Also in The Empire Strikes Back. Okay, in Bespin they could not kill the main characters, but when they go on Hoth, on the rebels, and conquer everything and battle them down and gun them down, they really killed all the rebels on the Echo base. And it doesn't look like for me that they missed. So for that you need millions of stormtroopers who battle or fight down a handful of rebels. So this was something Star Wars felt, or this is how Star Wars felt in the early 70s and 80s. And then with Return of the Jedi, something changed. Something changed really deep, because we went to the movies on Christmas, I think Christmas 1983, and we were amazed with Return of the Jedi. And on the next day we go again to the movies and watched it again. We told all our friends, oh, it's great and it's awesome and you will like it. And then something happened. It was totally a difference of my experience with The Empire Strikes Back, because you remember when I saw The Empire Strikes Back, I was not very happy, and later I find, oh, it's a very good movie. And here it was, oh, a great movie. And then we go in the next day, and my friends and me, we thought, we sit there and we thought, yesterday the movie looks different. And it was clear at the first sight. You see all these effects, and it has action, what did not let you breathe. And and we sat there and were amazed by all this great action and these amazing pictures, and it was Star Wars. Yeah, at this time Star Wars was established as a big thing. But we felt with this Jabba, the scenery with Jabba is a little bit annoying. Okay, time changed and it's okay. But then the Ewoks still, I still find the Ewoks not very, they do not convince me with fighting against the Empire. Okay, they did not win. That is also something people think, oh, the Ewoks won against the Empire. No, they lost. The battle changed when Chewbacca entered this little walker, and then it changed. But still, I think it changed. Star Wars started to change the tone in Return of the Jedi, and later we find out that George Lucas put in a director he can easily manipulate for what he wants, and maybe he started to think Star Wars is more for children and selling toys. And we felt this. We had no internet, we had not much information, but we thought really about every aspect of filmmaking. And we thought, something like this maybe have occurred in his mind, that he wants to change this, make it more for children, for small children. And I think that happens. I thought this at this time, and now I know it. And I think, don't get me wrong, The Return of the Jedi has great moments with the Empire and the Emperor. The throne room scene when Luke fights against Darth Vader in anger, and the music, it grabs me still. It's great moments. But the movie at all, when I watch A New Hope or The Empire Strikes Back, I agree with every moment. I'm satisfied with every moment. And with Return of the Jedi, there are so many moments where I think, the dialogue, okay, Jabba, the Ewoks, I have my problems with this. Okay, if you don't have problems, it's okay. But for me, it was like something changed. And here's the main point of the video why I think that Star Wars felt different in the beginning than today. I think George Lucas splitted the art direction and the quality of filmmaking in Star Wars to the ground. He split it really so hard that you have two tribes of fans now. The fans who want to have grown-up stuff like me, like The Empire Strikes Back, A New Hope, Rogue One, Andor, and the others who may also like this, but they think Star Wars is pure fun. Watch it and forget it. No, I don't want to tell the fans think so, but for blockbuster fans, it is like I can watch Transformers, I can watch Armageddon, blockbuster. I watch it, I have my fun for 2 hours, and then I come out and I can completely forget it. With Star Wars, it should not be the way. But I think the group wants to have fun. They they go into this direction to say, oh, okay, I like it when there's fun stuff and jokes. Irving Kershner said something about jokes and humor, because he said humor is good, jokes should not be in a movie. Okay, you can have some jokes, but there's a big difference between humor and jokes. Humor is, you have it in A New Hope. This was the scenery everybody liked when C-3PO and R2-D2 are in Luke's homestead or in Lars' homestead, and Luke went away, and the two droids discuss if Luke likes R2-D2, and C-3PO said, tell him what he wants to see, and he makes beep beep beep. No, he don't like you. Beep beep beep. No, I don't like you either. And then this whoop comes from R2-D2, and this scene is so great. Everybody were silent for this short dialogue, and it was humor, and it's great. But when Jar Jar Binks stepped into poo, this is a joke. Maybe some people laugh about it, but it's a stupid joke. And I think with Return of the Jedi, George Lucas made this split into what Star Wars should be. And Gary Kurtz, who was responsible for the darker tone of Star Wars, for the grown-up tone, I find it out later. Gary Kurtz was fired by George Lucas because of the money. Oh, Star Wars should not cost too much. But Gary Kurtz was producer, and he believed in this. And now the money of Star Wars is it's not a matter of money. It's a matter of art and how good you create a movie. And I think Gary Kurtz want to have this grown-up tone, and George Lucas don't want it, and so he put him out. And I think Gary Kurtz was the gray figure, or the gray, wir sagen die in Germany, die graue Eminenz, the gray eminence behind Star Wars, because he put in this grown-up tone. Okay, so these are my thoughts, that we will have this suffering between movies for grown-ups and childlike stuff, as long as Star Wars will be, because in 1983 this happens, and it is a little bit a division of these both tones, and you can't mix it. You will always disappoint one group, and yeah, Star Wars felt in the early 80s and late 70s, it felt like grown-up stuff. Okay, these are just my thoughts. Maybe you can tell me what if I'm wrong, or if you agree with me, or you tell this is a complete, and he should he should shoot himself to the moon. But this is my statement. Okay, so till next time, your LNJ Stock.